Hello, everyone. I am Krooked, and this is Unscripted, the series where I take a completely unscripted look at games and give it a 1 through 10 rating. This is Enter the Matrix for the PS2. If you haven't been able to tell, I'm on a PS2 kick right now, where I just want to play old school PS2 games that I loved. I don't know if you can say that I loved Evergrace, but I definitely loved this game. Enter the Matrix was one of my all-time favorite games back when I first played it. I was just like, this game has everything. It has bullet time. It was just the coolest thing ever. Looking back on it,
why do you do that?
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
You never know.
It's a program. They get loaded every time the exact same way.
Hume teaches us that no matter how many times you drop a stone and it falls to the floor, you never know what'll happen the next time you drop it. It might fall to the floor, but then again it might float to the ceiling. Past experience can never prove the future.
The voice acting in this is
So
good.
you never know.
Here we go.
Graphically, this doesn't look too different than Evergrace, does it? It looks like a pretty PS2 game.
We're in.
You got 10 minutes until
Although,
the post office closes.
it has mouth movement to match.
Box number is
That's kind of cool. It matches, and that's not something that you saw a lot in old school cinematics. This is a downside of older games, though, is load times. Load times sucked. Oh man, this is one of my favorite things, is how much this looks like scenes from Matrix. Look at this guy's running though. Like, there's no just my walk animation is like that, and then there's full on just running.
We're
So yeah.
closed. You're gonna have to leave now.
Oh, that's fine. I don't mind that you're closed. You might, but I don't. So, the action button. Wow, that was a jump.
Sparks the
This is almost like GTA 3-ish?
Found a blueprint.
Give it to me.
All right, let's...
Looks like a troublemaker.
Whoa. Okay, so, fighting. Fighting's pretty simple, like triangle to attack, circle grabs, that's pretty normal. X is jump. Ooh. You can pull out your guns with R1. Strafe with L2 and R2. You can use bullet time with L1. The controls for this are pretty solid, and the movement's not that bad, actually.
You're not supposed to be here.
You're not supposed to be here. Whoa, okay. So moving in bullet time's kind of cool, because everything moves kind of slow. And it kind of feels like you actually are just that much more badass than the things that you're fighting. I remember there were some definite struggle points in this game where it gets hard. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on, tons of enemies shooting at you. You're like trying to go around. I think my game just froze. Huh. Well, this is another problem with older games, is they might freeze. So, shooting things goes really well. I will be right back. Okay, now that we're basically back to where we were. So, all the controls in this game are actually really smooth, and they work really well. The game sounds really, really good, too. Other than freezing, which is a problem with basically any disc-based game back on the PS2 in that era, this game looks and sounds really good. Now, in terms of the story, if you ever watch The Matrix, there are things that happen that they kind of assume that you know about, but there was nothing that tells you. Stories do that a lot. It tells you something just to like move along the plot, like, oh, I got this from Jimmy. You never see Jimmy, ever. Jimmy's not actually a character, but it was a name and someone who gives the character the plot device because that's the plot device. With this actually takes place between, if I remember right, The Matrix and Matrix 2 that kind of fills in a lot of those gaps. And it's a fun adventure game, but the cool thing about it is you not only get to select your guns, but you get to do other things that will help you out more along the way as well. It seems like my copy is not doing well because it just froze again. And I don't know if it's going to work out. So, that being said, with Enter the Matrix, just off the little bit I played and everything, this is a fun game. You're going to have a fun time, especially if you're a fan of the Matrix. Oh, it loaded again! Cool, so it's not completely broken. Again, old games. So, it's something where if you're not a fan of the Matrix, I don't know if you're going to enjoy it as much. But you might just enjoy it as a fun game that apparently has loading issues on my PS2. But honestly, the graphics aren't bad. The gameplay is fun. And since it fills in that gap, I'm going to go ahead and give Enter the Matrix for the PS2 a 7 out of 10. I think it's a really good game that a lot of people will enjoy. It has some drawbacks because of the PS2 era. Like, for instance, we may see that I'm able to play this again. We may not. However, I do think it's a game that people could play and enjoy, especially today. And if I remember right, it was pretty widely distributed, so you can probably find it for pretty cheap as well. Just try to pick it up, play it, and see if you like it. If you're a Matrix fan, I think it's an absolutely must-play. If you like PS2 games, I think it's one that you're not going to regret playing. And with all that, if you like this video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button so you never miss out on an episode of Unscripted. Don't forget to hit the bell so that way you'll be notified when a new episode comes out. And other than that, if you want to support the channel more, go ahead and check out my Patreon. Link is in the description down below. And with all that being said, I do want to thank you for watching Unscripted, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!